Hello, everyone. It's Cheryl. It's Friday. And that means it is time for Muppin's Sewing Emporium. How are you doing today, this beautiful Friday evening? It is so hot here in Paducah. It is boiling hot. We are absolutely melting, and it is a very warm and steamy evening here in Paducah. If you are out there, say hello, give us a thumbs up. Be sure to follow and subscribe. And if you are not one of our followers on our many channels here on YouTube, Facebook, and you are not following us, please do that. We would love it if you did. It is Friday, and that means we're ready. We have new things that you have never seen before because they're new. They're new. And I love showing you guys new stuff. Just before we get into all of that, though, I have a lot to share with you on the screen here. If you didn't know, my name is Cheryl. And tonight you can use this coupon code only for tonight and tomorrow. So Friday the 30th and Saturday the 31st. These two days we're doing this 15% off coupon, but you must enter it at the checkout. This is not like our normal ones, my friends. And you probably will want to use this coupon on the things you are seeing tonight because they're that good. I'm just telling you. We have two things tonight. The first thing is called the Press It Pad. Now the Press It Pad is it's coming to us from J Lily Studio. J Lily also makes all kinds of applique tools. So if you are not familiar with applique tools, that would be one of those things that you will want to double check on. But let me just quickly run over to our website. Make sure that both of these are online because I do not want to be the one to tell you to go order it and then find out it's not been there this whole time, because it could have. That's just my luck lately on making sure that these things are up and on the website. So I'm going into the notions category on our website, and we're going to make sure that the Press It Pad is on there, and also the Stitch and Glide. So Stitch and Glide is on, and so they're both on there. We're gonna just click save. So now you should be able to go and find all of this on our website. So now that that is done, I'm gonna pull my sewing machine up here because I'm gonna show you this first one. Those of you who have not seen my sewing machine in a while, guess what? My sewing machine is here. All right. So let me situate it. Look, you can still see me. Isn't that great? And we're going to turn it on. It's going to make its little beep, beep, beep. Stitch and Lilo and Stitch? No. This is the Stitch and Glide. But a similar idea, right? Okay. So for those of you about to join me. So see, now I can't see around the sewing machine. There we go. Okay, friends, here it is. This is my Janome. This is the world's oldest Janome. I have sewn so many of my very, very famous quilts on this machine. Okay, so before you think, oh my gosh, I can't ever do this kind of thing on my machine. My machine's a million years old. My machine can't do that stuff. Guess what? This machine's probably 35 years old. Okay, so it's up there. And, okay, as you can see, it is called a Memory Craft 4900. It's really old. This is how wide the little neck is, and I have quilted tons of bed-size quilts on this beast. If I can do it, so can you, my friends. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Stitch and Glide. This is what the Stitch and Glide looks like. Okay, it is kind of a giant, I don't know, what would you call it? Like a big sticker looking thing. And it is very slippery Teflon on one end. And it has this sort of gummy, sticky back. What I love about this item, okay, here's the name, the Quilter Select Stitch and Glide. It's in backwards. You can see it through. I love that when they branded this, they branded it so that it was able to be seen through, but it's very faint, so it's not interfering with the sewing on your machine. Okay, now this is a machine quilting aid, and that to me is the best scenario I can call it. Is like a machine quilting aid. And you'll see here it's got a little hole, and what you do is you just center that hole over the spot here on your machine. Now let me get back there so you can see that. Okay, so you just center that hole. So where your needle goes down into the machine, you see that? That area there is the part you don't want to cover. Okay, but what the best thing is hey, if I don't have it right, I can pick this up, readjust it as much as I need to, and then lo and behold, I can press it back into place. So I'm just going to show you a little bit here, a little bit better of what I'm talking about. So you can see that the edge of this is gone over the edge of my sewing machine. You can also see that, you know, it hangs off a little bit here. If I had a sewing machine that had a table, you could use this a bunch of different ways. You could stick this so that it covered the lip of your table. You could also lift this and turn it. And so now you can see it doesn't really cover the front of the machine. And then I can just press it in the back there. So you can see I'm pressing it down and it's staying down. That stickiness allows me to pick this up and move it around. And then let's say, like I did, okay, I forgot to lower my feed dogs, which are way back here. Now that I've done that, I can just come back in, put this back on, stick it into place, and we're good to go. The other thing about the sticky part is this is just lightly tacky. It's very much like those sticky rollers. So the sticky roller option, so this, if this gets dirty, if this gets dusty, if this isn't sticking to the bottom as much as I would like, guess what? All I have to do is take it over to some warm water, rinse it off under some warm water, and let it dry. And guess what? It's completely sticky again, and I can go ahead and use it as much as I need to. So what I've got here You can see that I've got my machine quilting foot on there. Okay. And I'm just going to try to get a little bit of an angle here so you can see that. Did I mention it's boiling in here? It is so hot outside. It's so grossly hot outside. I don't know where it is where you are, but it's pretty gross here. Okay, so this is what this has been designed for. This, my friends, I know you cannot see or feel what I'm feeling under my fingertips, but oh my gosh, is this just sliding around like butter? It is so it's slickery, okay, as my grandmother used to say, right? It's slickery. And what's great about it being slickery is that I can move my free motion quilting very easily under this needle without me having to you know, feel the drag of the normal plate here. Okay, so if I take this off and I put this on here, I mean, I can feel the difference under my fingertips of making those motions. Okay, these motions, I you can just feel the drag of the backing on the surface of your sewing machine, right? And so this little tool, because it works on any machine, it works on every machine, um, is going to be that item that you need for sewing, you know, for doing your free motion quilting. So as you can see, I'm pressing it onto my table. It's sticking, okay? And then when I come back in here, it's just so much smoother. I mean, the difference here is completely night and day. What's also fantastic is that your machine here, okay, wherever the little hole is, if you like to use things uh like vinyl, okay, let's say you sew with a lot of vinyl because you make costumes or you make quilts or you make bags, okay, with vinyl pieces in it, that vinyl is not going to drag on this surface. Okay, this is a Teflon surface, so it's very much like those Teflon baking sheets, except it's got a sticky backing, and that sticky backing is going to allow you to just float while you quilt. And I just think that that's just an incredible thing. So I'm going to try to twist this so that it stays. All right, that was pretty funny. I dropped it. Now you get to see the room. All right, let's see if we can do this again. I have to hit the button. One moment, my friends. There we go. Oh my goodness. It's all fun and games until the technology stops, right? And we're gonna have that kind of day today, where like the whole apparatus just disconnects itself from the wall, from the table. I always like to say it's fun and games until the technology stops, and that's definitely one of them. I'm gonna have to take a second here to really get this back into action. Good Lord. Oh, goodness. And there we go. Okay. So what I'm trying to do though is to try to get this uh my phone to stop. So you know when it's heavy, you put something heavy into something and it just starts to slowly bend down. That's what's happening. It's just slowly bending down. So now I got to look around the sewing machine. There we go. All right. So here is where you can see the difference here. And I was going to try to sew a little bit before this system decided to have a little moment with me. Now I do have to go get my uh thread under here because it's trapped underneath the sticker, which I want to get out before I start sewing, because that, of course, will be one of those things that makes for ugly stitches. And you know me, I like to prevent having ugly stitches anytime I can. And then, never a dull moment. Hey, at least you can see it, right? Like that's a good thing. Okay, so this little mini quilt has a lot of texture on it, which is going to be important in our next demo here. But I'm just going to show you how easy it is to move this around while I quilt. And so I'm just going to take a second here and just do a little bit of stitching. And you're going to see I'm going to be taking really tiny stitches. Now, the other thing about this machine, there's no stitch regulator. I don't have one of those stitch regulators on here that determines the length of my stitching. The length of my stitch is dependent on how fast or slow I move my hands. So if you do not have a stitch regulator, this is something that you had to learn before there were such things as stitch regulators. So, all right, so here we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower my presser foot, and then I'm going to bring all my my threads up to the top and go from there. So, all right, here we go. So this thing is making all these little tiny movements that I'm making to make this meander stitch so easy, because the fabric is just floating on the stitching glide. And if you are not used to doing machine quilting, I get that this, is one of those things that keeps you like, how do I move and how do I keep my stitches to look so pretty and even? And a lot of it is because you need a lot of control. And here I'm just pushing this with my fingertips. The quilt is just absolutely gliding over the on the surface of the stitching glide. So these are incredible. This is one of my new favorite things in our store. These are currently in stock. They're called the Stitching Glide, and they are available on with the discount on the screen. So this is a really good time to invest in this little guy. And what I love, right, is this is not a big giant sticker. Okay, it's something that you can take off. I can still get access to my bobbin here, right? I can take this off of here, do what I need to do, and then put it back on. And it is like 1, 2, 3, put it back and continue quilting. I love that. I love that. Love it from Marsha. She's here from Houston. Hello. How are you doing tonight? Hope you're doing well. It is so hot here. So yeah, I mean, like, these kinds of things are definitely sewing tools. And I tell you all the time, I don't like things that only do one thing in the sewing room. This being one of those things, because right, I can do my quilting and I can use this for sewing vinyl bags. I can do all kinds of other stuff. So, Rachel, I love that when I do my rag quilts. Yes, I love it. Hello, how are you in Montana? Um, but I mean, like, the movements I'm making here are really light with my fingers. And just look, I mean, I can move this quilt around with one finger. Let's take this off of here and let's take a look, because this is not leaving any residue here. Okay, it's not a sticker. It's just, it's like one of those it's like a silicone mat. It's sticky. But take a look here. If I put this under here and I try moving it with my finger, it's jerky and herky jerky and stuff like that, right? I'm not getting that smooth, like as smooth look. I really, really love this tool. I love things that make you absolutely successful. And I also love that I can turn this to the side and then I can have more space over here for that glide. Okay, so I can do that glide over here as well. Um, I think that these kinds of tools make us successful. And so I feel like, I mean, I'm literally just putting just a tiny, tiny bit of pressure and you're getting that movement. Now, of course, when you're working on a big quilt, right, this kind of drag, it matters. It matters to the smoothness of these curls, of these curves, of when you're trying to do swirls and things like that. The ability for the fabric to move absolutely makes a difference here, because these can look atrocious if you are using and have a lot of drag happening on the surface of the machine. If you have that kind of don't have that surface slickeriness, right, you're going to get these and they're going to come out looking very choppy and boxy. And I mean, look at that, they're very curvy. So I think that if you are like me and you quilt your quilts yourself and you want to be more successful at that, this is the kind of tool that I wish was there to help me. I love that it is machine agnostic. It is for every machine out there. And if you would like to use this on vinyl bags, all you will need to do, okay, is to cut the same area for your feed dogs out of this hole. Okay, so you would actually get in here with your scissors and trim it into a square, and that will allow your feed dogs to come through, and the vinyl will just glide over the top of this and under the feed dogs, which will pull it under, and it will not get stuck to the throat plate. It's incredible what like some technology will do and make for your project. And this is one of those things that absolutely I feel makes a difference. The difference between like choppy quilting and this light and just, you know, glide, it's it is called a Stitch and Glide. It is what it is called, Stitch and Glide. It's made by Culture Select. This is the same brand that Alex Anderson is the brand ambassador for. And I just think it's incredible. It's a fantastic thing. So when you are not using it, you can just roll it onto itself, okay, just like that. And this is how you can store it. And as long as you're not folding it, putting creases in it, you're going to be just fine. And when this sticky backing gets a little dusty, because trust me, it's going to pick up the fibers from your batting and the little dust bunnies from your threads and things like that. Then it is going to, you just run this under hot water and it's clean again. So no special tools needed. I'm going to turn this off because we're moving to the next demo. So that, my friends, is the Stitch and Glide. It is, how big is this thing? It is like 8 by 11. So I think it's perfect for every machine. People who have vintage machines, if you come into our store, this demo piece is currently on our treadle machine, so you can come in and test it out. Bye-bye, sewing machine. You're right. Hello, goodbye. Sewing machine is done for the night. This it's just a really great tool. And like I said, I have picked up very few like new gadgets and really fell in love right away. This was one of them. And I just taught a class on machine quilting over at the Quilt Museum, and I had this there for everybody to try. And we sold out of our first batch. So we have them in. They're currently in stock. You know you want one, and you can use our coupon on this little guy. The coupon is only good for tomorrow. So it's tonight and tomorrow, and that's it. And then our little coupon sale is over. So Stitch and Glide, great little item. Like I said, I picked this up when I went to one of the new showcases in the industry. Got to see some new stuff. This was one of them. Very makes me very happy. I like this. Now, if you have our magnets, okay, so let me pull my magnet out here. All right, remember we were talking about the Keep It Together magnets. Okay, look at this. Look at that. It keeps your thing nice and rolled up, and no clips, no marks. What a cool little another use, okay, for your magnet. So if you have these magnets, again, these are also in our store right now. We have the sew magnets. I love these. They're great for all kinds of things. I'm just really excited about these two. So yeah, are you ready? I think we're ready to show you the press it pad. And this is another one. You see these things, and you've got to have them. Can I just say, this is how addicted to sweet tea I really am. So I'm and it's so hot in here, so I've been making it by the gallons. this week. It's hot. It's so hot. Okay. So, I'm going to bring over my iron and we're going to talk about this cuz this is something cool. All right? Let's get this party started, shall we? All right, friends. We've got here this is my pressing pad, okay? Now, anytime with this aliso is hot, is super warm. It's been on in here for a couple of about a half an hour. So, we're going to talk about the press it pad and why would you need something like this. If you're worried about this surface, do not worry. This is a surface that cannot be scorched. This is just one of those things. Okay, so we're going to talk about like mashing down volume. If you know me and you know that I like to make things that have volume, okay? If you're pressing and this is ironing, okay? There's a lot of differences here. This is ironing. This is pressing. And there's an absolute difference in when and why you would want to use this. But for this example, we're going to be doing kind of both. You'll get what I'm about to explain here in a second. So this pad is not what we're talking about today. We're talking about this, which is called the Press It pad. This is a very, very plush terry cloth material. This is like luxury towel level plushness. Okay, it's really super thick. I will say I think it's about 1/8 of an inch thick, just on its own. Now, this piece there is a car outside and it is absolutely racing down the street and I can hear it and I'm in the back of my building. That has got to be one heck of an engine on that thing. Where are the cops when you need them? So you can see just how plush and luxurious this is. It's got lots and lots and lots of loops. And if you've ever pressed on a towel, you're gonna get the gist of what I'm doing. This is 18 by 22, so it is the size of a fat quarter, and the little thread nub does not come with it. I've been using this for a couple of weeks now, and I'm in love with what this does to my work when I have pressed it. And this is what it does. When you take your embroidery, okay, like this kind of embroidery here, that's very, very textural, okay? It's got a lot of height to it. When you go to press this on your regular iron, right? You're pressing this and all you're doing is just mashing down all that volume, all that height that you have added. But when you use a pad like this, okay, and I have this doubled up, so you're getting at least 1/4 of an inch of plushness here. You can see that I can give this a little bit of, like, I can push down on it and it is not, you can even see the indentation here. It's not doing anything to the volume of the stitching that I have added here. Okay, so like using this as the magic eraser, right? So if I'm sitting here and I'm pushing and I am really trying to get the rest of this flat, right? What I'm not doing is I'm not pressing down the volume of these stitches, right? And I just think that to me is really, really super helpful. So then, like, for example, let's take something like this. Okay, Mary says, wow. Let's take a look at something like this. Now, I still have this folded over in half, but I can use either one. Look at this. Look at how, okay, first of all, look at these tiny hexagons. Aren't they amazing? Okay, and not just the tiny hexagons, they're 1/4 of an inch hexagons. Yes, sir, it does. I will be talking about that in a moment. So see all this beading, right? We don't want to be pressing that either. But what we do want is to preserve the loft that, see this beautiful stitching, this hand quilting that's done around here. We want these to stay looking like dimensional. And if you were to just take this and put this on a non-plush surface and start mashing all this down, what you're doing is you're smashing down all of this volume that this beautiful applique has. And we don't want to do that. We're going to take, the press it pad, and we're going to take this and we're going to put it face down. And then we're going to take this and we're going to press it from the back. And it's going to preserve all that loft. This was a quilt that was made by my friend Mary in Baltimore. She did all of this work. Okay, I did not do it. But what she's done, right, is now I can press it. I've kept the loft. I haven't done any damage to any of this, of these pearls or additions on here, and it's perfect, right? I've pressed out the creases. I've kept the loft. Like, this is still beautifully appliqued and raised. And this to me is a game changer for your applique. Okay, so if you have embroidery, applique, that kind of stuff, this is going to be able to basically absorb the dimensional and then take care of the rest of the quilt. And so as you press, right, and we're gonna give this, a good press here, you can see that we're not damaging the loft of the piece. I really, really love it. And so, again, let's talk about this quilt here. This is, uh, where the skulls are not quilted. Okay, they're meant to have dimension and puff up from the background because the background's been quilted very heavily. So you can kind of see from the side here that you've got just that little bit of loft from these pieces. And we're gonna just put this right, the applique side down, and we're gonna press, and you press from the back, and that loft is absorbing the individual pieces, and we can get in here to the quilting and press it down really well. And then when you lift this, okay, you're not like over pressing all of these appliques to where they're smushed and looking terrible and not having that lofty dimension that you want from applique pieces from the back. Yes. So Jerry has a question. Does it work with your antique irons? It works with any iron. So In this case, it's iron agnostic. So we've got machine agnostic stitch and glide, and we have iron agnostic press it pad. Marcia says for Trapunto. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. The anything with lots of dimension. So, for example, okay, here's one of my quilts with, look at this beautiful, lofty yummo, right? And if I were to come in here with my iron and smush all of this, it would be like pancake flat. But we don't want to do that. We want all this loftiness, all this texture that we're putting in. We want that to stay raised, okay? But we also want to be able to press things. And that's when you can take your press it pad and you can flip it into multiple layers, okay? And this, I mean, you can do it with one layer, but I really like it in two. That's just me. And then you take this and you press from the back, right? And it's going to absorb that dimension, but it's not going to press down. It's not going to flatten it. And it's still got volume. It's still nice and high. And we're not smushing it flat, right? Because I could come in here and this would look awful if I took my iron straight to it. But with this kind of, we've got all these decorative pieces, right? Look at that dimension. We don't want to smush that down. We want that to stay lofty. And that's where this comes into play. So for all the folks who have my tools, right? And you want to do all your heirloom sewing tools, this is going to be it. If you have, a quilt like this where you have, a lot of loft, right? And you want some of that to stay, we can come in here and press this, right? And even if we do happen to get into here, the thing is it's going to make the front side of your quilting look nice and dimensional, because yes, the back is the one that's getting smushed flat, but the bottom, the front of the quilt, okay, it's going to have all of that like really pretty, lovely sort of dimensional effect from the quilting, because it's not getting smushed flat. Now, if I just took this, right, and I smush it like this, right, all of that is getting flattened. And I mean, look at the difference, right? It's not as dimensional. It doesn't look as pretty. But guess what? We can revive it. You put it down on here and you use your press it pad and it comes back and it's dimensional again. So this to me makes your quilting look even better. If you are an art quilter, this is perfect size. It's 24 by 18. It's got that super plush terry cloth. Okay, it's like ultra fancy towels. Okay, and I think I was sitting here thinking like it's probably a good 1/8 of an inch thick with all the terry cloth loops, and then it, if you were to fold it like I was doing, like this, okay, you're getting about 1/4 of an inch thickness to press on. And this is perfect for pressing blocks, especially embroidery blocks, things like that, things like applique blocks. All right, let's talk again about this sort of dimensional. See how much how raised that is. Okay, it's really got lots of volume here. I want to say it's almost an eighth of an inch thick. And we put that down and we give it a really good, I mean, you can get in there and really smush it. And you know what you're not going to get is that glossy sort of shine that happens when you overpress. Look at what happened. It went down into the press it pad. Okay. That shows you that the press it pad did like pulled the dimension down, and you're flattening this surface, and it's keeping its height, which I really love. Now, if you're looking at this and you say, oh my gosh, that's a really dirty uh, thing, you're not wrong. This one hasn't been soaked. I just pulled this out of my stash to show you because it had this lovely thick embroidery on it. Okay, this dimensional embroidery, all these little beautiful French knots. You don't want to sit here and smash that down with your iron and make this like flat looking and shiny and gross. If you are a longtime sewist, you know exactly what I'm talking about. By taking your iron and smushing this over and over again, all you're doing is pressing all of that volume out. And this is not that. So here, like on this end, I'll show you, if we just, give this a good press, it's taking the volume of the embroidery. You can see the indentation from it, and that means that the embroidery went down into the pile of the toweling from the press it pad. So this is one of those things that just makes your quilting, your embroideries, your anything that you work on. Yes. Yes, Mary. Yes. So kanzashi, anything like this with like this super texture, right? You're going to want to press it, and you want it to be flat before, say, you put your binding on it. And you're going to be able to do that, but also prevent your quilting from being flattened out, because I can tell you I've flattened out many bits of quilting, and I at the end I'm so unhappy, right? But because this pulls the volume down into the plushness of the pad, you get beautiful dimensional look to your piece, and you're not smushing down any of your other dimensional stuff that you might be working on. This is a tree, by the way. I know it doesn't really look like a tree, but it's a tree. Well, I should say it's a tree branch. It's not really it's not really a full form tree. This is a class that I am working on. So you're getting a sneak peek of that. So what you have here is not only the really cool quilting stitching glide, okay, but you also have the press it pad. So you're probably like, Cheryl, all right, tell me about this pressing pad, right? Because look at how thick you can get your dimension just by folding this up, right? If you have a small block, this is perfect. If you have a bigger block, guess what? It's 18 by 22, so it is fat quarter sized. So it's a great size for you to drape over your sewing table. And I can tell you it's super, super plush. If you, let's say you are like, but Cheryl, now I've used it so much, I have smushed down all of the volume. Don't worry, throw it in the dryer. The dryer will fluff up all of the loops again, and you're back to its thickness. I love this because it's 100% cotton. It's washable. It's not going to track anything to your fabric. It's also not going to bleed on your fabric, okay? I love that it's white because let's say if I'm using, a color that's not color fast, right? That's not going, it'll transfer to it and not to my piece. And then I can take this and I can wash that and I can get that transfer out. But these kinds of things with the dimensional embroideries, okay? I mean, you don't want to smush that down. You want that to be part of this, and you want it to be super dimensional. And look at that. I mean, you see right there that the dimension went down into the loft, and it didn't take away any of the dimension from the piece. So like this is a thing that, I look for tools that make your work look better, okay? And you can, I mean, this piece is nearly, I want to say almost 100 years old. And I mean, take a look at that, right? It's nice and high and it's got that volume, and I haven't sat here and smushed it to death. So I love that. And I love how this, and it works for any kind of embroidery, machine embroidery, tucks, pleats, you name it. You don't want all that dimension to be smushed out. This is how you're going to do it. Okay. So, does not matter what iron you use. It does not matter what undersurface you use. I'm only using this because I don't have an ironing board that I throw up here on my desk to do ironing with. This is just my little transportable ironing surface. But you see what I'm talking about here when you're sewing and you're making these things and you want them to look their best. You want this quilting, right, to not get smushed down. You want those, I mean, this is why we quilt. We want that beautiful look of dimension, and that's why we have the battings that we put in our product. And then we turn it over onto a pad like this and press. And I mean, you can see the back of this getting super flat, right? But look at the front. The front is still gorgeous, still got all that beautiful, deep shadowing and textures that we love. And so we don't want to press that out. We want that to stay dimensional. And that's what the press it pad is really, really good for. So we have two new things tonight. And I am really like boiling, especially with this hot iron, like right here, right? This is a cute little iron, but it's hot. And it's been like 100 degrees here this week, all week long. And we are so ready. So ready. I want fall to be here. So let's all like just bring in our fall. We're ready for spooky season. We're ready, my friends, for spookiness. Okay? You want dimensional appliques and things like that? You need a press it pad. You want smooth quilting? You need a stitching glide. And that, to me, look at how big this is. Okay? It's not small. Now there's somebody out there that's probably thinking, but Cheryl, I have a towel and I can just use a towel. And I'm not saying that you can't, okay? But there is a difference to this type of high loop terry cloth, okay? So you want the high loop terry cloth. Yes, bring on like cozy sewing and pumpkin spice everything and fall and sweater weather. I want some sweater weather. It's time for sweaters. I want my sweater. but it's not a terry cloth from Muppin. No. And let me just say, okay, so for those of you that are like, I have a towel, I'm going to put a towel in my room, okay? But so like traveling, yes, okay? Um Going to your if you are pressing your quilts, get the thing that does the job the best for the project, okay? These are $13.99. That's cheaper than a really high-end hand towel, okay? So you're gonna say, well, it's hand towel size, so I'll just get myself a hand towel. $13.99. Plus you can use your 15% off coupon here, all right? Mary says, I want to buy this not only for sewing, but to take with me when I travel and need to iron clothes because those hotel towels are junk. Yes, 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 yes. You are not going to get the loft that you need, okay? And especially anything that you have that is super fussy, okay? I was going to use this one, this piece that's normally hanging here, and I realized it really needs to be laundered first. Um, so I was gonna launder this. I absolutely love like the burning heart motif. It's like one of my things. And so I can't wait to launder this, but then I'm gonna press it from the back, okay, down on the surface, and I will be able to preserve all that beautiful height in the embroidery. All these layers and dense stitching are just gonna pop right back up, and I love that. And you're not going to get that from a junky towel, a spare rotty towel that you're just going to relegate to your sewing room. This is thick, nice material, okay? I am not trying to tell you that this is like weak, nasty, thin junk. This is plush stuff. And like this is the kind of stuff you'd make a really, really nice terry cloth robe out of, okay? But you've got this like lovely piece. It's going to fit great on your sewing, on your ironing board, and it's just fantastic. It's one of these, I saw it, I was a little skeptical. Now that I've used it, I'm a believer. So press and pad, very press it pad, and our stitch and glide. If you missed our stitch and glide demo, was at the beginning of the video, it will be on here very, very shortly. So be sure to grab your stitch and glides and your press it pads, okay? And I'm ready for fall. It is tomorrow's supposed to be a lot cooler here in beautiful downtown Paducah. I'm very excited for some cooler weather. It's supposed to be about 10 degrees cooler tomorrow. I'm very excited. It's holiday weekend. We are not open this Monday. It's Labor Day. And if you are off this weekend, I hope you get some sewing done because it is the beginning of the run up to Christmas and Christmas sewing and holiday sewing, and we've got some really, really cool new gadgets for you to try. So come on down to the store. Would love to see you tomorrow. We're open 10 to 4. We'll be back open after Labor Day. And yeah, I'm so excited, you guys. We got some cool new stuff. Please take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful weekend. I hope you get some sewing done. Take care. I will see all of you next week. Take care. Bye bye.